you got to keep in mind, people in their 20s even were born in the 90s now, right? Like in 1995, you'd be 25 now. Is that right?
It's something horrifying, yeah.
I think I was talking to somebody who was born in 1999. And I think that's when they were born. I know I was talking to them. I just wasn't sure when they were born.
I assume anyone born in 1999 is 3 years old.
No, they wrote a book.
Oh,
They published a book. And I'm quoted on the back cover saying, this is a good book, essentially. So it was a feeling of being humbled to, one, be asked to have my quote on the back of the book. That's awfully nice.
By a 19-year-old.
Yeah, she just turned 21, I think. And she started writing the book when she was 20. She got the deal when I think she was like 19 or something. So it's a little humbling. I have not yet written a book.
And you are not famous.
I was famous at 20, sort of.
Yeah, you were famous at 19. So did you warn this person of the fate that they're about to befall?
Yeah.
They
She said, I was famous at 19, you know. Look at me now.
If you're ever asked to be on a podcast with two other people, say no. Did you impart that warning?
No, it was talking to the author about being on TV a little bit. It was a little bit like if, the old Spike Jonze, not the director, but the original TV show guy, or the guy who played Ralph Cramden was like, in my day, the television was a flickering light. We all gathered round. That would be like, I don't even know. Because she was born the year I was on TV. She was born that year. Like, it's ancient history. It's like...
So what you're saying is, there is a nation that has grown up with you, and we need to bring that back. Imagine how many people who got book deals at 19 could have you quoted on the back of their book.
Maybe some.
In fact, maybe that's what we should do. We should make you the premier book jacket writer for 19-year-old authors.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the best quote of the bunch.
I'll tell you what, right? We'll test the waters here. You know Anne Rice?
The vampire author and erotica.
The writer of Interview with a Vampire.
Sure.
Yeah,
right?
Sexy books.
I think what we should do is to test Jonathan's acumen and skill as an endorser of books. We should send a quote about Interview with a Vampire to Anne Rice and see if she wants to put it on her book.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I'll start, right?
What?
And if we take it in turns, I think we can put together a real good thing.
Don't we have to read the book first? What are we even writing about?
Dear Anne Rice, do I have to read the book first? What am I even talking about? I think that's what you said there.
That's not to be shared with Anne. That's for an internal conversation.
No, this is going on the book cover.
That's not to be shared with Anne.
That's very humiliating. Very humiliating to have this inside conversation.
Very humiliating to have this inside
Look up the whole back cover
conversation. This is filling up the whole back cover. Right. So I was going to start, but, I'll just say I am Jonathan Holmes. I don't have much time to sort of, we're running out of book space. So I am Jonathan Holmes. I like your books when they're about vampires because I saw the film Interview with a Vampire. Conrad, anything to add to that?
It was a decent film, which I enjoyed, and that led me to want to read your books. They take longer.
This is just a bad fan letter. This is just a
but
fan
they're better.
This is just a fan who's too lazy to even bother to read the work of whom they are saying they are a fan, and just wants to interact with a famous person for the sake of touching that fame.
I like the vampire Elrond the best.
Is that even an Anne Rice one? Elrond?
One moment. So, Jonathan, I do apologize.
Yeah?
while I was taking diction of what you were saying just then, you did speak fast, so I kind of had to do my best to type as you went. So now it reads, we start from Jonathan saying it was a decent film which I enjoyed. That led me to want to read your books. They take longer, but they're better. This is just a fan who's too lazy to bother to read the work of someone who they say they're a fan of and just want to touch that person. And I know you said a lot more than that. But then Conrad had more to offer. Can I get that again?
You want Conrad to re-speak?
Yeah, give me a little more, Conrad.
My favorite vampire is Elrond.
Elrond? Who is Elrond?
Okay. Is Elrond.
Yeah, Elrond?
What?
The vampire. You know Elrond.
No, I don't.
He comes into the shop on Thursdays.
Which shop? Whose shop?
You're getting all of this, right, Jim?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, good.
There's real vampires?
In the book? My gosh, Jonathan, do you have difficulty separating reality from fiction?
I'm completely confused. You're talking about your favorite vampire being one who just comes into the shop on Thursdays.
In the book? Didn't you read the book? You're writing a quote for this book jacket. You didn't even read the book.
I can't. I'm getting calluses on my fingers. I couldn't follow that bit, but I did get Jonathan saying there is real vampires. Is there anything more you'd like to add to that, Jonathan?
I was amazed and terrified to hear that there may be real vampires from Conrad, who said that. You're typing that.
Again, it's a book that people read.
You're telling me that part of the story of this book is just, hello, I'm a vampire. I'm going to the shop on Thursdays, and that's part of the story?
Wow, you're really just going to spoil the whole book in this quote.
I thought I read at least 4 Anne Rice vampire books. The first one, the second one, the third one, and then the fourth one where I think he becomes a person for a little while. Lestat becomes a person and is like, oh, it's actually bad. Then he goes back to being a vampire. Does that sound right? That's all I remember right now. Oh, wait, this is going on the back of the book. That's terrible.
Well, I think that probably covers it.
Yeah, so I'm going to read all of this. It's not verbatim.
Of course.
But I've done my best, and I think it gets the message across to Anne Rice. Dear Anne Rice, do I have to read the book first? What am I even talking about? That's not to be shared with Anne. That's very humiliating. Very humiliating to have this inside conversation. This is filling up the whole back cover. I am Jonathan Holmes. I like your books when they're about vampires because I saw the film Interview with a Vampire. It was a decent film, which I enjoyed, and that led me to want to read your books. They take longer, but they're better. This is just a fan who's too lazy to bother to read the work of someone who says they're a fan of that and just want to touch that person. My favourite vampire is Elrond. The vampire, you know Elrond, comes into the shop on Thursday. You're getting all of this, right, Jim? There is real vampires? I was amazed and terrified to hear that there may be real vampires from Conrad, who said that. You're typing that. It's a book that people read. You're telling me that part of the story of this book is, hello, I'm a vampire, I go to the shop on Thursdays. You're really going to spoil the whole book? I read some Anne Rice books, the first one and the third one and the fourth one. Lestat turns into a person and says, this is terrible, and goes back. Oh, this is all being written down. By the way, Anne, you're not a TERF, are you? Because we had this issue with JK when we wrote to her. Love, Jonathan.
That's going to look great on the cover of the book.
That is a whole book. That is, you could sell that as a separate book. And no one would buy it, but you would. Okay, you cut me right off. Yeah, you would buy it.
I read it as the follow-up to Memnoch the Devil, which is the name of an Anne Rice book I know because my mum had them all.
I sort of remember that one. That was not a vampire book, I think.
I think Lestat goes to hell and meets the devil.
Oh, that sounds pretty good. So it is a vampire book.
Yeah, the final Friday.
You know, Anne Rice, there's a story about Anne Rice hating a local restaurant, and I'm blanking on the details. I think it might have been a Popeyes, and she would call the Popeyes irate at various times of the day. And there was some sort of feud. This is all dream memory, though. It's muddied and mixed with my own subconscious, so I'm probably getting a lot of the details wrong. But she was extremely fierce advocate for herself against restaurants in some capacity, and it's really worth looking into. for the listeners. just ruin the whole show.
That's
with
brilliant.
Anne Rice facts.
That's
Not even a fact.
We can do another one next time if you want. We can do Anne Rice facts.
every episode.
Every episode, yeah. I mean, we'll run out of them eventually. Well, I reckon there's like 5 episodes in it. And after that, we can just lie. I think you're allowed to do that if it's a celebrity. I think it's called parody.
I was gonna say parody law allows it.
Yeah, if you just say like she strangled someone once.
Yeah, I think if nobody could realistically believe that the thing that you're saying is true, you can say pretty much anything you want to.
Yeah, she cheated on her taxes. I think if you just say like, just some wild lies, then you can really get away with it.
Yeah, just outlandish accusations.
Yeah, Ethan Hawke threw a brick through a shop window once.
That's not out of the realm of possibility. That's extremely possible, in fact.
He went to a peaceful demonstration and started a fight just so he could do it. Because he said, I'm Ethan Hawke and I can't be seen to throw a brick through a window. But Ethan Hawke throwing a brick through a window in a street fight, get away with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke did this?
Definitely.